So I know how to use my outside voice on the inside, so I will use my outside voice. How's that?
All right.
Okay. Thank you so much for being here. First, I want to thank the board and the wonderful chair lady of the board for this opportunity. I will be presenting a story from my project On the Ride Home. It is entitled Board Meeting, and it has been modified to fit within the time that has been allotted to me. Yes, ma'am. The question was, why did I choose this particular part? May I hold that until the end? Okay, so at the end, thank you for that introduction. At the end, I will explain why I chose this particular piece to share with you this morning. He was late. Quickly sitting in the first available chair, he looked up at the picture on the wall entitled Introduction. It appeared he made it in time for the start of the briefing. The presenter spoke with a short military clip. Gentlemen, we are here to discuss our next assignment. Pay close attention to the clip. The clip played. It began with a young mother holding one child in her arm, holding the hand of another with her free arm, and walking down the street. The young mother bought diapers, returned home where she cooked lunch for the young child, and put the baby to bed. Afterwards, she sat at the table with a cup of coffee and read scriptures. The clip ended. The presenter returned to the front of the room and addressed the audience. Gentlemen, what have we just seen? The room was silent. He goaded them on, surely, gentlemen, someone has thoughts on what we've just seen. Arrogance spoke up. I think we haven't seen a thing. Another young mother with children, whoop-de-doo. A wave of chuckling washed over the room. Does everyone feel the same way? The presenter asked. Heads nodded around the room. Deception, lust, envy, discord, worry, hatred, murder, all the spirits in the room agreed. Fools, he exploded, suddenly changing the atmosphere. It was stern and uncomfortable. His eyes reflected his internal fury. His voice rumbled in his mouth and escaped his lips as a roar across the room. It baffles me that our master does not throw all of you into the abyss with the other waiting beasts. You blind fools have missed the same principle over and over again. Even the flesh creature monkeys can learn. Must I constantly remind you of your failures? Eve, you attacked her instead of her husband. Moses, you thought he wasn't a threat in the wilderness. Samson, you pierced his eyes instead of his heart. Mary, had you corrupted her, you would not have had to worry about her seed. Incompetence. The presenter finished his rant and paused to allow his composure to return. Arrogance broke the silence. Destroyer, why is this mother different than the others? Destroyer breathed an audible sigh before answering. Have I not made my point clear, Mr. Arrogance? This group underestimates the humble. You want big prey to brag about at our meetings, and you miss huge conquests before you because they are dressed differently. This not impressive mother, as you describe her, has set a faithful example of loving her Lord in front of her children, her family, her community, and her workplace. She has exhibited a standard to the men watching her. She has a reputation of honesty in her local marketplace. Think of the great fall she represents, as well as the loss of faith for those connected to her. You constantly miss the spiderweb of success with your cases, your victims. You forget about the stolen future and protected innocence of her children and their families. You imbeciles seek glory instead of success. The room was quiet once more. Destroyer broke the silence. Now that I have your proper attention, we will establish our business plan to tear her down. Before we begin, I remind you of how to cook a frog. If you place him in boiling water, he will jump out. If you place him in comfortable water and change his environment 1 degree at a time, he will let you boil him alive. Now, gentlemen, let us get to work on how to boil this Christian alive. The room roared with hails to their king. Arrogance looked at the wall again to examine the young mother. His perspective changed, and he began to relish his assignment. Woo! So the reason why I chose that was 2 reasons, because I thought that it fit into the theme for the ladies' breakfast this morning concerning perspective. And the other thing is, I wrote this story because I am a daughter of this ministry of all 3 pastors. And I have heard it said before, hell is having a meeting on you. And I thought, well, what would that look like? What would it sound like? And I've also heard it said that you make hell nervous. This woman in our story could be any one of us. It wasn't because of her notoriety, her family influence, her financial connections, none of those things. It was because of the way she loved her Lord and the example that she gave to others that were watching her. There are other people's success that is based on the example that we as women present to them. In closing, for my presentation, I want to leave you with this quote. And it is from Pastor Locke from her message, "Don't look at what's in your hand, what is in your hand, look at God." Anytime you're focused in the things of God, the enemy can't stand you. You become a danger to the host of darkness, because one focused Christian can upset a nation. Thank you again to the chair lady and to the chair, to this board, and all of you for your very kind attention.
Thank you, Deaconess Miller. And if you don't know,